It's interesting. I guess I never began with any kind of numbers in mind. That was never my intent. It was just kind of fun. Always been fun kind of following the Dragons. And as the years kind of piled up, we took notice. It got published somewhere around the 300 mark. And I never looked at that in advance, but it was great fun. And then I was fortunate enough to, I think, hit 400 when we were down in Winona a few years ago. And I didn't know if I'd be around long enough to add to it.
And Scotty has added to that number. On Saturday, October 10th at Northern State, he'll chart his 500th consecutive Dragon football game. And when you think about it, to get 500 in a row, that would mean Scotty hasn't missed a game, home or away, since 1967.
No, there was a guy in Louisiana, Bonet, I think it was Lee Bonet, and he was at one of those directional schools. And for a while, he had gone to maybe about 20 more games, than I had. And I asked the national organization, and they used to chart that, but they said they don't do that anymore. So I don't know. I don't know of anybody else. Maybe there might have been some that have been to more games, And I've been to more than that too. I mean, there were another 20, 30 I saw earlier when I was younger, a student and that kind of thing. But consecutively, I don't know if there's anybody else. And it'd be a kind of a small fraternity, I guess, but it'd be kind of fun to know if there's other people involved.
From what we could uncover, Scotty is in a league of his own. 500 games is incredible, but 500 in a row is unprecedented. And looking to the future, it doesn't even look possible for this feat to be accomplished again.
Again, and I was kind of lucky too, as a young SID, I got to travel with the football team. And that was kind of accepted practice back then. And that's not always true today. A lot of sports information directors, when their football team is on the road, their volleyball team or soccer's at home. And so a lot of them really don't have that opportunity. But I always had that when I was younger, and then I got a little older. Somehow we were able to make some arrangements that I could continue to go. I know some people are tired of it, but even this day, I think jumping in a bus with a team of players and coaches you really like and getting to witness stuff firsthand, it's still pretty exciting.
Scotty's had several roles during the 500-game run. He's been witness to a lot of changes over those years since he was appointed the first ever sports information director in 1969. I
used to do a lot of the, the stats and that, which I enjoyed, and then the game day management, which a lot of people like yourself and Tom Berg now have to worry about. There's a lot of things that go in there. And I remember it was always stressful. I always wanted to make sure we had the best looking press box in the country and organized, and we wanted to have the right, food and snacks for the people, and really wanted people to leave. My thought was I always wanted to leave MS thinking that's big time. When it was all done, we'd make our phone calls, and it was always a real treat to hook up to like WCCO. You get on something live statewide, and start spreading the gospel about the Dragons. That was fun. So, and now it's a little different for me. I can back off. I do the radio and the television with Steve, and there's some preparation that goes into it. I understand that, but I don't have to worry about if files don't open and stat crew and things like that. And I'm fortunate now, I really am, because now I travel. I don't have those additional worries. Things are taken care of. I'm treated like royalty up there with Steve, You still feel like you're part of it, which is nice. And that's a big thing that I'm no longer there day to day. I understand that. But I still have a role, something to do, hopefully, that is helpful, or, that I can give back a little bit to Dragon Athletics. And so, I'm a lucky guy to have that.
For over 45 years, if the Dragons were on the field, Scotty was somewhere close by, a watchful eye whose memory of each game goes far beyond detailed. So we asked him, which of these 500 stand out?
Oh, there's a couple, and a lot of times, people, when they ask to reminisce, will tell you about games that were lost, right? Certainly in 1981, when we had 5 straight shutouts, led the nation and ranked #1 in the country. We played at Minnesota Duluth in a big showdown. They won 20 straight, and we beat them 29-0 up there. I mean, that was a marvelous game, and that put us into the national playoffs for the first time. And that was a great trip down to play Pittsburgh, Kansas, and then we lost 14-13 after we had a lead, and so that certainly stung. That was one of the toughest losses. I think Coach Fortsch's second year when we beat Michigan Tech, they were coming in here off 2 60-point wins, and they were ranked 4th in the country, and they were a huge favorite. But it rained for about 3 days, and this beautiful field that we're standing on now, Shields, was nothing but mud, and we were able to upset them. George Spanish ran a long punt back, and that was it. And that kind of started the Fortschi years going. We won the conference championships that year, and that kind of really got us on a roll. And so those are memorable. 1991 when we came back, scored on the last play of the game to beat Southwest State when they were unbeaten. That put us in the playoffs. That was Coach Fortsch's last great team. That was fun. But you know, all of them, and certainly we've enjoyed this year, that coming out party over Winona State on opening night, man, and I don't really remember maybe a better atmosphere with the exception of the Concordia games. That was great fun, and then beating a very good Augustana team. You know, it doesn't get much better than that. Certainly those Dragon Cobra games of yesteryear, you know, they were magical. Huge crowds and that, and great rivalry, and I doubt that can ever come back. Maybe it's from a different time. A lot of those kind of rivalries have vanished, but for a while that was awfully special games. It meant a lot to a lot of people, and so to see about 40 of them was really an honor too.
Scotty's never taken a sick day, a vacation, or even missed the bus just once during the football months of the fall. He says there are some tough trips, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like it.
I guess one of the only problems is a lot of times when you have night games, you get back late and that kind of thing, and that gets a little harder as you get older. But being there, you know, sharing the meals with the players, seeing them get ready for the game, kind of being there when the tension and the atmosphere kind of starts to bubble up before games, you know, it's enjoyable. I know some people would just as soon as maybe stay home and watch it. I'm not quite to that point yet. I really like being there firsthand.
Scotty's had a front row seat for decades to Dragon football, but it took several people along the way to make 500 in a row possible.
Well, certainly Larry McLeod, who was the athletic director when I started, and he got me my first job keeping stats at basketball games and running around and that. And then he kept encouraging me that maybe someday that they would create this job. It wasn't a full-time job at the time. There weren't very many in the state. And so after I graduated, I was in the Army for a while. I came back to grad school. And then when I was offered a job at Minnesota as an assistant, then that kind of sparked things. And Dr. Dill called me in his office and said, if you stay, we'll create a full-time job and you can have it. And they don't, you know, no search committees, they don't do that anymore. But that was long ago. And so that's kind of how it started. And then when Coach Fortsch came in football, it's much like Coach Lockway. I could see right away, I knew things were going to be different and better. And they really were, and we had a lot of fun for a long time. Then later Ralph Michelli came in, and I enjoyed working with him, and a couple other coaching changes. So I think those are the people that really gave me maybe the most encouragement. And then, you know, athletic directors too, like when we had Katie Wilson came in for a while. She kind of knew about the football thing and allowed me to kind of participate and continue that, which I liked. And now, you know, Doug, especially Doug Peters, you know, has given me a small role, which I like, and he's always been very supportive of it. He's been especially kind to me. I'm not sure why, but he's really made me feel at home. And so, unlike a lot of other people, that, you know, I didn't have to completely walk away when I was done, which was nice, because for a while that's always difficult when your career's over in a way.
We won't let him get away with being too humble about this accomplishment. Larry Scott is in the MSUM, NSIC, and COSIDA Halls of Fame, was the league publicist from 1970 to 2006, and was the NAIA SID of the Year in 1990. He has over 100 national publication awards, including 25 Best in the Nation certificates. After retirement in 2009, Scotty seems to still enjoy his role on the Dragon broadcast team.
You know, I'm not the world's greatest football mind or something, but to be able to tag along like I do and still be around is great fun, and to see the changes and that. And I think it's a great time to be a Dragon. You know, I think we're all inspired by President Blackhurst. It was great fun. I think we've got great leadership in the athletic department, and to see our teams. The basketball thing last year was wonderful, and to get to head to the national championships with the guys was a great thrill. And so there's a lot of really good things that are going on, right? And a lot of teams that are getting better and competitive. And so, you know, I always said it's great to be young and a Dragon. I said that for years, and yeah, I have to amend that a little bit, but it's still great to be a Dragon.
After Saturday, it will be 500 in a row and counting, and hopefully many more days of his cowboy boots clicking down the hallways of Nemzik. For Dragons Live, I'm John Webby Webking.